the edge of the circle. Not going to be able to get back over. Probably those banners are going to be a little bit too complicated to get, as he knows he's in a pretty rough predicament right now. Circle's not going to favor him, but not going to be too far away either.
Another difficult thing for Frex as well is, I mean, you look at the top right, 15 squads still remaining, 14 not including themselves, so gonna probably have to play for placement at this point, kind of sitting a little bit further back as we jump on with no-brainers, however we want to say it. We'll figure it out eventually by week 5. But either way, Hakulo and the boys have been consistent in that kind of top 10 spot. Right now sitting in 12th overall with 128 points. The next one in their way is Team Liquid at 133, so hoping to have a good performance this week to bump themselves up in the standings as they find Sentinels in a really rough spot as well. That's going to have to rotate out. Probably going to go and rotate the other way, but this is a long path. Could be very difficult.
And this is a prime example when we talk about mountains in play and how they create all of these choke points and just make it so difficult. Sentinel's going to have to burn a lot of their healing utility based off of this, not even opting to go for the first pass. Instead, going to continue their trek up around towards the north, and it's going to have to require a lot of meds to get back over into that position. Hopefully it's going to be worth it, as I don't know if we're going to have anybody that's gatekeeping off of that position just yet. Looks like they do manage to make it over and through. Going to find some safety, but cost wasn't too terribly high, but not one that they were really wanting to take on.
Yeah, the nice thing about going to the second location as well is that first one actually wraps back to where the aggression was coming from. So I think that second path is also going to make an easier rotation back inside. Plus, it also avoids the aggression that they're trying to deny in the first place. So good decision-making there from the team, using that grapple and that mobility that the Pathfinder provides. Should be up relatively soon here again before they get into the next fight. But all these teams now starting to reconvene. Harvester looks like it's going to get a little dicey here in just a bit.
Not inside of circle. That means that a lot of people are going to be playing back away from this, so not easy path back over towards the safe zone. Trying to see if they can connect with any shots, but again, it's going to be ISMP finding themselves into a skirmish. They're the ones that are playing back over in this position that could have a couple of teams walking up back behind them. They have to be very cautious. You can see they can't really make a break back over towards the safe zone just yet because there's so many people that are taking the shots at them. Looks like they're going to try to dance around the outside of this one, try to get a kind of sneaky Wraith portal up onto a different point. Look at the fortifications around this, and this could buy them a lot more space. The ring is going to close back around onto that angle. It's just going to be the forefront point that's going to provide a lot of hassle, and that's where we saw the bullets coming from.
Need to be careful as well, as Rogue just on the outside, able to apply some of that damage. So they know they're there. There's another team on them as well. So 2 bubbles, whoever's going to end up first, as well as they put out the thermite. So not able to even push forward if they need to. So far, good plays for both teams, but the bubble from SMP going to land just a little bit longer as the team re-engages. Shots coming out, one coming over the top, and getting popped a little bit by McCarthy, but they've also got Rogue on their backside. Need to be careful from all their angles as Crummy going to get founded spot out here, gets dropped. There was also that team with Blurry and everybody across the quarry into the corner, so shots and angles from every single direction, and SMP somehow able to keep all 3 members alive.
On the other side of this, Rogue's getting caught up into a little bit of a skirmish to manage to make a play on the outside. Keep in mind the fact that they are aware that somebody is playing in that high position. Looking back over, they were the aggressors on the outside of the fight. You can see that the team that aggressed back over towards ISMP was trying to go for a play off the point. Jumped back over the wall, but it was going to be Rogue that very quickly mopped it up. Now, ISMP going to have to make a very long rotation as the circle shifted about as hard away from them as it can. Only other problem inside of that is the fact that they're also going to have Rogue hanging out, potentially waiting to catch them the moment that they have to move.
Not only that, but it looks like Protectful has also disconnected. So even with that snipe down making the great rotation, he's going to end up playing across, and unfortunately for Protectful, he does get cut off first as he's not able to make any moves. So this team in a rough spot, even though you don't want to make any assumptions. It looked like Rogue had their number from the start, so as soon as they get that entry frag, they're going to start moving in. And here it is, already inside the circle, the Mastiff with the shots. He ends up missing the second one, so still an opportunity as shots come down. There's another one, and there's a whole other team here. Just everybody in this spot just trying to fight left and right as Rogue, just trying to put everything they can. You have Snipe down up on the top. He's using those canisters for protection, trying to get the Watson ultimate down. There's so much utility and so many throwables coming out. But he's going to be able to find and weasel away his inside, and Sweet does sneak away. So at this point, just trying to get to his teammate, trying to get the revive on. As both team members are actually going to drop down, they're going to be able to cover this.
Well, it was a mess up top. Rogue is somehow going to be able to do damage control to get back into a halfway decent position. It's going to be aim assist that's going to have an early track. Getting ahead of Rogue's position might be able to hold them out depending on how everything moves. Look at this setup that we're seeing come out from everybody on aim assist. Looks like they're on a little bit of a mission themselves, but gonna try to go back over to the side of it, but good spray is gonna be coming out from only one mini. Connects on his shots off of the rotation on that. Gotta look back down onto it. Amos now finding themselves in a little bit of a troubled spot. Smile also playing around this location as well. It is starting to get very stacked very quick.
This is the team we're talking about that needs to have a big performance. They've had plenty of kills, but haven't been able to get the wins. And this is kind of that moment, the difference maker for them between being in the top and being in that kind of just almost getting there. So they need to be able to put it together here. Going to keep our eyes on Smile here as TLP in the area, having that high ground. This is the team that looks like gentrifying the boys we're trying to chase down as they're throwing a bunch of utility and a bunch of grenades out. But as soon as we jump back to Smile, you now look at where they're located. And interesting choice here.
Hopefully nobody else is in this position. Whenever you run down to here, it's just like, please God, let nobody be down here. And oh my God, it's going to be third-party shots coming in off of this. Gentrifying is going to go down as well. Designful has nowhere to go. It's going to be TLP still up on top, raining down death and destruction on all the teams below them. We've got to be very careful as somehow they haven't managed to draw a lot of third-party attention just quite yet, and they've been the entire aggressors on this part of the circle.
Feels so bad for the team down below, but everybody's got easy pickings and they don't want to mess with each other. So what it looks like could be everybody kind of taking shots at each other, especially from the people in that compound. It's just been everybody focusing on this last team running across in the open. As just trying to get a couple shots down. They know it's Rogue. Shots coming down on Sweet, able to have to pop a med kit here as he checks his angles. Bobbing up and down.
He does have the safe zone, and that is a key factor and a very strong point as well. A lot of information that he'll be able to gather off of this is all the teams are now going to be forced to come back over towards their direction. TLP, you can see playing back over towards the north. Teams on every single vector around them, they have to be very cautious on how they play this. But you can see they can look down from this point, see if anybody goes down below them. The only problem with it is whenever you're playing down inside of this little dip, your vision on the outside is not the best. So you have to be super cautious about this one, as teams could find a quick approach and then just jump right on top of you.
Again, it's with that map knowledge. We already saw one team try to use that portal to get underneath there and kind of camp because that's where the middle of the circle is. But again, these guys need to be very, very mindful that they can be spotted from every other location. And Rogue's already doing that. They're just trying to make sure is anybody down here is Easy Kaka finding themselves on the receiving end of Gibraltar, all just trying to bob and weave and get through. Should be relatively safe as they're going to throw an Arc Star and deal with the aggression. A shot comes across and Mastiff hits once, twice, three times and drops them down, but it doesn't matter. Strength in numbers, they're able to get the trade and ends up removing them all together.
See Rogue now starting to move around, trying to figure out where everybody's going to be approaching from. 4 squads left at this point. TLP is going to be the northern aggressors back over towards Rogue's position. Looking back in, new circle is going to pop, and it's going to go back down towards the south. So it's going to be another chase coming out from TLP. They've got to find the right approach to work with this. So looking around on everything that's happening, with the positions coming into play, TLP's trying to get a little bit of a peek, but every time they do, they take a touch of damage. Luckily, it's just tick damage, enough to make it a little bit more hesitant to look forward.
Energy actually using Moore. So Moore was a player that used to be on that old Energy squad, actually subbing in for HRN right now. So a very talented player to have on the roster, known for his capabilities and his mechanics to shoot those guns. So coming out huge, peeking all those angles, and has a lot of information as well that can help out these players about familiar opponents. So
nice positioning coming out. You can see that it's going to be HRN aggressing back over towards the south. They do have the safe zone in their favor. TLP is still just trying to find some way to push up and forward that is safe. There's not a lot of good approaches, specifically based on the fact that we're so high up in the air right now and there's all the lava down below them. No real easy path except for the direct approach to right in front of you. Rogue now creeping back in. We've seen the fact that they've taken several fights along the way. Playing back over, do have themselves a nice little bit of a cubby that they're playing back down inside of. But it looks like HRN has their number, has the angle for it. It's going to be Moore playing back over on the high side of it. Good shot's going to come out. That's going to be a quick tap back over, but Moore goes down inside of the exchange. Got to be very careful in this. Just going to go ahead and throw out a little bit more, seeing if maybe they can get the full-on flush with this, but there's nowhere really for HRN to go. Just going to have to charge back and around as it's going to be TLP. This is how they decided to make their approach. They found the angle to play with, trying to rain back damage onto that Gibraltar. Going to hit a lot onto it, but you can see it's just Gibraltar shields all over the place as TLP is bouncing from every part of this safe zone that they possibly can. There's so many down players around them, it feels like half of the circle is there. Make it all of the circle. TLP walks away with a solid victory.
For a team that's trying to promote in and do their best you see what they're capable of. Just the ability to rotate and play it smart. They cover their angles. They make sure that engagement happens. And even though they may not be the ones to start it, they're the ones to finish it. So well played by them, waiting for that opportunity and then just committing. So when that extra goes down, you know that these guys are going to be trading. The damage is going to be going. And for these guys to come in and then just land those shots, it looked like the Gibraltar almost got away, but in the end, it wasn't there. And TLP, congrats on your victory.
It's all about waiting for the cascade of shots to come through. Once somebody makes a little bit too aggressive of a move into the safe zone, you hear the firefight go off, and you know that that's your opportunity. TLP was trapped back over towards the north, but whenever that firefight broke out, they knew that they could shift back down, run right along that wall, denying vision back over towards, I believe, the east of their position, and just start raining havoc on everybody that was already fighting.
Yeah, I think my favorite part too is the capabilities to use their throwables. I mean, you saw it as we take a look at the highlights here. At the very end,